All around the country, the leaves are changing. They're shedding their bright green colors for the vibrant red, orange, and yellow. But nothing in the food world says fall more than the pumpkin. It's a gorgeous day and we're at Gobert's Great Pumpkin Patch. It's a perfect time to harvest your pumpkin, whether it be for carving or baking. We're gonna grab our pumpkins, head back to the kitchen, and I'm gonna show you an awesome pumpkin recipe.
In the morning on a southbound train, headed back to where he...
The pumpkin is a gourd-like squash. It actually can range from less than 1 pound to around 1,000 pounds. The actual world record is 1,810 pounds. Now, they can be white, they can be orange, they can be red, gray, green, pale green, and dark green. They're actually a fruit, not a vegetable. Pumpkins are generally the ones that you take home to bake. They have a really sweet flesh to them. These are the ones that you're gonna make bars, pies, scones, and pancakes with.
Oh, mother, tell me where to go. I just need some place.
What you're used to seeing at the supermarket is just the pumpkin with the stem sticking out of it. But what it's actually attached to is these green vines that spread all across the ground. So, we are gonna start with this pumpkin. We're gonna bake the pumpkin, roast the seeds, and I'm gonna show you an easy, simple, quick, dairy-free pumpkin mousse that's yummy. So we're gonna start by cutting the pumpkin. If you're too scared to cut it, if it's a little bit hard on the outside, you can bake this whole. All you have to do is wash it off, pop it in the oven for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then you can just cut it open and take out the seeds. But I'm gonna cut this in half, and we are gonna scoop out the junk and get it ready to throw into the oven. Sometimes it takes a little while. You always get a workout in the kitchen. Get strong, buff arms. Good enough. So now what we're gonna do is I put about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of water in the bottom of this shallow pan. Now you could use a shallow pan or you could use a 9x13 casserole dish, whatever you got. We're gonna put it face down so that it sort of steams and bakes at the same time. I'm gonna wipe my hands here so I don't get it all over the oven door. And we're gonna go put it in the oven. I preheated it to 350. We are gonna pop it in there. It takes anywhere from 35 minutes to an hour. Something like this might be about 35, 40 minutes. We're gonna throw it in there, and while we're waiting, we are gonna go prep those seeds. Got my loyal oven mitt. It's been about 35, 40 minutes, and we're gonna pull out that pumpkin. Let's check it out. Woo! Steaming hot. Be careful, there's still a little bit of water in there. I don't want you pouring it on you and burning yourself. We're gonna set that aside to cool, and I've already prepped the seeds. We seasoned them with a little bit of sea salt and cayenne, because I like a little heat. But you could just do sea salt, you could do Parmesan cheese and Italian seasoning, or you could do cinnamon and sugar. I'm gonna turn up the oven to 400 and we're gonna let those bake for about 15 minutes. Now once the pumpkin is cool enough to the touch, you can start scooping out the flesh. The flesh is full of beta carotene, which generates vitamin A in the body, which is great for the immune system, the skin, and your eyes. We're gonna scoop this all out. See how simple that was? It just leaves that skin there. And what we are gonna do with all of this pumpkin puree, you can do lots of things. You can make ravioli, you can make risotto, you can make bars, pancakes, scones, whatever you want. But today, I'm gonna show you that dairy-free mousse. So we're gonna scoop all this out, and we are gonna set it aside for a second, because how we are gonna start that is with these nuts first. Now, it takes about 1 cup, maybe a little bit over a cup of nuts. You can use cashews or macadamia nuts. Today I used cashews, and what I did is I soaked them overnight in a cup of almond milk. Now you could use any non-dairy milk, and you don't have to soak them overnight. You can soak them for just a couple hours, but I'm using a regular blender, and sometimes when you do that, it can take a little while to blend stuff. Unless you have a blend tech or a Vitamix or a food processor, then it's gonna be a little bit easier. We're just gonna drop in these nuts and this almond milk. And I'm gonna take it back to the base here, and we are going to blend it for a second. Blend it smooth. Now we have our cashews and milk all blended smooth. We're gonna bring this back over and add the rest of our ingredients. We need a couple cups of this pumpkin flesh. So I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate. I'm gonna throw it in this little bowl here. You can do a little or more depending on the texture that you want. I would say that's about a cup. I'm gonna do one more cup. Throw that in. Now we're gonna sweeten this with some dates. I'm a big fan of dates. I don't like to use white sugar. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of honey, but dates have really good fiber to them, and I think they have a really good sweet taste. Now with the dates, again, because I'm using a blender, I soaked them in some hot water for about a half an hour. You just soak them, it kind of makes them a little bit softer, and I'm just gonna drain that water. It's okay if you have a little bit of water left in there. It'll help with the wetness of this mousse. I'm gonna plop those in. Shove them in, and then we gotta season it up. And of course, we gotta season it up with our pumpkin spices. So I'm gonna put in probably a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of cinnamon. We have nutmeg, about a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. And then of course, we gotta have our ginger. So I'm gonna pop in about half a teaspoon of ginger as well. Now I'm just gonna do a little pinch of salt just to bring out the sweetness too. Throw that in. You can blend it a little bit with a spoon if you want before you pop it on the base, but I'm just gonna throw it on and we're gonna start blending. So we have our mixture all smoothed out, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you and tell you that it does take longer in a regular blender, but it works perfectly. We got it all smooth, and we have now our pumpkin mousse. Now you can eat it plain just like this, or you can put it in parfaits, you can put it in a tart crust, a pie crust, a date nut crust, whatever you want. I'm gonna try it out and see if we seasoned it right. I'm just gonna go ahead and lick it right off this knife here. So good. Okay, so we have our pumpkin mousse. We have our spicy roasted seeds, all that came from our little pumpkin from the field. Thanks for joining me. I'm your farm to table foodie, Becky Bowler, and we'll see you next time. And then we have bumpy gourds. These small pumpkins are actually pumpkins. Pie pumpkin. Pie pumpkins are the ones that you generally take home. They have a sweet flesh. You take all pumpkins home, but introducing the jack-o'-lantern. Now the jack-o'-lantern, wow. It's all blended smooth. We're gonna bring it back over. I can get it off the base.